The spiritual industry is worth billions of dollars. There are thousands of teachers, gurus, masters, and guides, all competing for the same audience, all using the same language: consciousness, awakening, love, presence, unity. And most of them have never actually experienced what they are selling, and that is a huge problem. A fake financial advisor costs you money. A fake spiritual guru costs you something far more valuable: your time, your trust, and your own direct path to genuine understanding get handed over to someone who is using the language of truth to serve their own unresolved psychological needs and issues. In this video, we break down exactly how fake gurus operate at the psychological level, the 4 patterns that expose them every time, and what a genuinely conscious teacher actually looks like in contrast. Red Flag 1. Ego concealed under the mask of enlightenment. The first and most common red flag is a guru whose ego is not dismantled. A genuinely conscious person has gone through a real process of confronting and dismantling their own ego. What remains after that process is a particular quality of presence: humble without needing to perform humility, confident without needing any validation, comfortable with being challenged, questioned, or disagreed with. A fake guru has done none of that internal work, but they have learned the language, the posture, and the aesthetic of someone who has. So what you get is an ego that has not been dismantled, but has found the perfect costume to hide inside. Watch how they respond when someone questions them publicly. Watch what happens when their authority is challenged. A genuinely awakened person meets that moment with openness. A fake guru meets it with subtle aggression, dismissal, or a carefully constructed spiritual explanation for why the questioner simply does not understand yet. The ego always reveals itself under pressure. You just have to watch closely enough. Red Flag 2. Dependency creation. The second red flag is a guru who needs you to need them. A real teacher's entire goal is to make themselves unnecessary, to give you the tools, the understanding, and the direct experience that allows you to stand on your own ground without them. Every genuine wisdom tradition in history pointed the student inward, toward their own direct experience as the ultimate authority. A fake guru does the opposite. Consciously or unconsciously, they create a dynamic where the follower becomes progressively more dependent on the teacher for guidance, validation, and spiritual identity. They position themselves as the indispensable bridge between you and your own awakening. Without me, you cannot get there. This dynamic is psychologically driven from the inner world and inner conflicts of the guru. A person whose own sense of worth is built on being needed will unconsciously engineer situations that confirm that need. And spiritual followers, who are often in a genuine state of seeking and vulnerability, are the perfect environment for that dynamic to take root. If your teacher makes you feel more capable, more clear, and more self-directed over time, that is a good sign. If after years of following them, you feel more dependent on their guidance than when you started, that is a serious red flag. Red Flag 3. Performing spirituality for status and money. The third red flag is when the teaching becomes a product, and the guru becomes a brand to sell spirituality from. There is nothing wrong with a spiritual teacher earning a living from their work. That is not the issue. The issue is when the accumulation of wealth, status, followers, and influence becomes the actual driving force behind everything they do. When the teaching gets shaped around what sells rather than what is true. You can feel this in the content. It becomes increasingly designed to make people feel good rather than to make people think clearly. The uncomfortable truths get softened or removed entirely. The teachings start reflecting the audience's existing beliefs back at them rather than challenging and expanding them. A real teacher is willing to say what is true even when it costs them, even when it reduces the audience, even when it makes people uncomfortable. A fake guru tracks the metrics and adjusts the message accordingly. Watch what they are willing to lose for the truth. That answer tells you everything. Red flag 4. No direct experience behind the words. The fourth and deepest red flag is a teacher whose knowledge is entirely secondhand. They have read everything. They can quote every tradition, every scripture, every philosopher. They speak fluently about consciousness, about awakening, about the dismantling of the self. But underneath all of that language, there is no living direct experience. It is an intellectual construction built from other people's insights, assembled into something that sounds wise. The difference between someone speaking from direct experience and someone speaking from accumulated knowledge is subtle but unmistakable once you know what to listen for. Direct experience produces a particular quality of simplicity and certainty. The person is not performing understanding for anybody. They are transmitting it. So the words land differently because they are coming from somewhere real. Second-hand knowledge produces complexity, performance, and a subtle need for the listener to be impressed. Because the teacher unconsciously knows the words are not backed by anything real and compensates with volume, eloquence, and authority. The question to ask any teacher is simple. Have you actually been where you are pointing? Not have you read about it or have you taught it for 20 years. Have you personally, directly, undeniably been there yourself? Final words. The spiritual path is one of the most valuable things a human being can walk. And precisely because it is valuable, it attracts people who want to profit from it without doing the work it requires. These 4 red flags are not reasons to become cynical about teachers or traditions. They are simply tools for discernment. The ability to tell the difference between someone who has genuinely walked the path and someone who has learned to talk about it convincingly is one of the most important skills a serious seeker can develop. Your path belongs to you, and no teacher worth following would ever want it any other way.